Our Thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship. Yeah, it's an information session getting ready to launch our ninth fellows for the year, with maybe some familiar faces here and maybe an alumni, I believe, but happy for you to be here. So before we talk deeply about the North Star Black Cooperative, I just want to introduce the organization that holds North Star. So North Star lives in the organization called Nexus Community Partners. We're located in Midway, St. Paul. We were founded in 2004, so we just celebrated our 20th last year, but are having some fun events to commemorate that this year. Our goal is to build powerful and engaged communities of color so that each of us and every person can flourish and have a joyful and abundant life. Nexus supports strong and equitable and just communities in which all residents are engaged and recognized as leaders and have pathways to opportunities. Our work lies within the four ships, which is authorship, leadership, ownership, and stewardship. Our authorship work lies in community engagement, just recognizing that people should be the stewards of engaging community engagement processes. They should be at the tables helping make decisions. They should be paid for that work. With leadership, just recognizing that we need more BIPOC folks in leadership positions, particularly at Nexus with this program, it focuses on boards and commissions around the city and state, just recognizing that we need more BIPOC folks at the tables, making the decisions, creating policies. And that's been around for, I think, over 11 years now. Ownership, which is what North Star is, just recognizing that people should own the labor that they have. And so a lot of our ownership work at Nexus includes cooperative work, including the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship, another program called the Shared Ownership Center at Nexus, which provides technical assistance to cooperatives, as well as the Open Road Fund, which provides $50,000 gifts for individuals that have descended from the slave trade. And those are that's happening over the next I guess 5 years now, because they just wrapped are wrapping the third year, or starting the third year rather. And then stewardship. And that's a little bit about Nexus Community Partners.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm going to invite us to do a brief grounding. So in North Star, we typically, start with our check-in and grounding. We really want to set space and take care and check in with ourselves and each other. So I'm inviting you all to participate if you feel led in a sacred pause. And I'm going to read a card from Harvest of Survival, an affirmation deck inspired by Octavia E. Butler. And so the quote is, all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Octavia E. Butler, Parable of the Sower. And the question, what is a change you are embracing this season? So I'm going to put that again in the chat and also read it again. What is a change you are embracing this season? And I'm going to invite us for maybe, instead of 5 minutes, let's do about 3 to just reflect on this prompt for ourselves. So again, what is a change you are embracing this season? And we can come back at 20 after, and folks can feel free to come off mute or share in the chat. All right, take the next 10 seconds or so to wrap up your thoughts. You can continue to reflect on that as we continue. But yeah, I invite anyone who would like to maybe put any thoughts in the chat. Um, I see some comments. Let's see. I am embracing my freedom from corporate America. I'm now free to help out in the Black community with my full self, not limitations from an 8 to 12-hour job. I can now give 110% of me. Thank you. From Alicia, working for myself, collaboration with other Black people here in rural Minnesota to create our own systems. Thank you. See, Montara Roberts. There have been many changes that I've encountered in the last 2 years. Life has often felt like a roller coaster. There were several milestones and several disappointments. These experiences has taught the power of acceptance and surrender while also making my effort to take things step by step at my own time. Thank you. Would anyone like to come off mute and share?
I'm embracing vulnerability and partnership. Just kind of doing this work over the last 10 to 15 years is primarily been kind of me at the helm of leadership and kind of being in a servant leader role and then taking on a lot of responsibility. And in this particular season, I'm embracing number one, partnership and support, which requires me to actually be vulnerable and let people know when I don't either have the skill set, the capacity, the time, or the intellect to do things, and allowing people that space to be able to kind of support me in those ways. And it's actually been pretty amazing.
Thank you so much. I see.
Um,
Oh, sorry. Whoever was
yeah,
speak.
Angel, sorry. So for me, I had said that I wanted to start my own cooperative. I want to be a part of a cooperative to be like create something, a space. I have also have had a lot of changes in my life, um, and some battles that I had to um overcome. Which like three of them were like I had been dealing with like cancer for
Mm,
3 years, and which made me move myself from corporate America because when they talk about work-life balance, they didn't talk about, well, you can't be a slave to us and be sick at the same time.
mm,
So we're gonna let you go.
mm, mm,
And I felt like my health was more important.
mm,
And so I took the step of just leaving that behind. And now I want to open a co-op where healing and thriving, where work balance is a for real fruition for people.
mhm. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and letting us hold you in that. Um, all right, Carissa, I see you had shared something in the chat, and I'll read that. I'm embracing deepening practices of mutual aid and being a mentor and mentee to the same folks. Thank you. All right, we're gonna continue on. Thank you, everyone. So with our Pamoja, this glyph was created by Duaba Unanra, a North Star alum, as well as Nexus staff. And so each year we typically give out notebooks, and this Pamoja and this proverb by Gwendolyn Brooks is on there as a reminder. We are each other's harvest, we are each other's business, we are each other's magnitude and bond. And so just continuing to remember that spirit of cooperation and solidarity, that we need each other in this work, to do these things together, for our liberation. So it's a reminder for us as we continue. Pass it to Nicole.
Thank you. So we're going to talk a little more about North Star's creation, but just wanted to share this beautiful picture with the last time we were in person. But the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship was established in 2017, and I'll talk more about the founders and the history. But yeah, just so we are grateful to have you all in the space to be part of this incredible legacy. And yeah, we're excited to hear more about the work that you're doing as well.
So meeting the North Star team. So these photos were taken while we were in Ghana. We went we were on a trip with Prepared Nations to a Black Solidarity Conference and Cultural Exchange. And so this is on the left, we were at KASI, the Kwaku Ondo Sustainability Institute, which is like an eco research and training institute around Indigenous African practices in the Volta region. And then on the left, we are standing with a photo of a picture of Harriet Tubman, who we consider, a huge figure in Black cooperative work, the general of cooperatives. And this is at Asin Manso, enslaved river, where folks who were taken, enslaved Africans, their last bath. And so it was a return for us to go there and to be in that sacred space as well. But meeting us, my name is Leona Brown, Program Manager for the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship, and kind of how I entered this work and Nexus. It'll be about 3 years and a few weeks here that I've been with Nexus, and Black cooperative work and cooperatives felt familiar to me, just in terms of how being in different artist spaces, like as an artist in dance, how artists come together to create and build work, as well as just within our family, how we support each other and come together. And so the work felt familiar, but hadn't had more formal experience with cooperatives. So been appreciative to learn and grow alongside fellows and fellow staff doing this work. Pass it to you, Nicole.
And I'm Nakuli Shangwe, the Community Wealth Building Director with the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship. I came into Nexus about 8 years ago, but started with North Star about 6 years ago. My first cohort was cohort 3. And I came into this work just because it makes sense. I've grown up, my family has always like practiced in like mutual aid in some way or form, whether it was mutual aid for, funerals or for weddings. One of my favorite stories, or one of my favorite, like, I guess, practices growing up was whenever there was a wedding, all the aunties would come together, and there'd be like an auntie that's in charge of cutting the meats, an auntie that's in charge of cutting the vegetables, an auntie that's in charge of cooking, oh, an auntie that holds the key to where like all the cookies or all the cakes are being stored. And then, then there's always the one, either the newer auntie or the newer bride or whatever in the family that maybe is then washing the dishes because she has to earn her way into the circle. And so cooperative economics just makes sense. It's the way that we all live together. It's the way that we all hold each other. Like, we can never do this work alone. We can't exist in this world alone. And so we need each other in some way, shape, or form. And it's just the way we take care.
Mhm. Thank you. So what is the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship? So the North Star Black Cooperative Fellowship, North Star, is a 7-month fellowship focused on Black American cooperative economics and the history of Black cooperative economic thought and practice. We center the wisdom and experience of those who share the ancestry of enslaved Africans in the United States and place value on the legacy of Black cooperative economics and collective care. North Star is a place for Black-led cooperatives, collectives, housing, commercial, and land trusts. This is a photo of W.E.B. Du Bois, who is also considered the grandfather of Black cooperatives and is an important figure in Black cooperative history.
And so North Star was really started by this book called Collective Courage, which just turned 10 years last year. It's a history of African American cooperative economic thought and practice. It's a book that we gift to all of our North Stars. It's really an anthology that talks about the history of cooperatives in the US. Dr. Nemhart goes through to talk about the Underground Railroad as a form of cooperatives. Earlier, Liana mentioned Harriet Tubman as the general of cooperatives. This is where that term also came from. And she really talks about the different cooperative legacies that have existed in the United States, and how people had to create their own economies because they couldn't exist within the economies that were created. They were very exclusive, traumatic, and more. And so creating their own spaces to live and thrive and to survive. And so that North Star was really born out of this book. But so that's our cooperative Bible per se, or where we nerd out a little bit. And then on the right, we have Economic Cooperation Amongst Negro Americans. And that was the first cooperative book that was ever really written. And that was by W.E.B. Du Bois. And that talks about the cooperative history that exists. And he himself lived in a housing co-op in the 1920s in New York. And so just North Star really takes part in really honoring these legacies and these histories, and then seeing what lessons we can take from this to create what we need for ourselves today. So from the book, just this little excerpt, but African Americans have a long, rich history of cooperative ownership, especially in reaction to market failure and economic racial discrimination. However, it has often been a hidden history and one obstructed by white supremacist violence. When there is a narrative, the history is told as one of failure. The challenges have been tremendous and have often been insurmountable. The successes are often anecdotal and isolated, little understood, and even less documented. And so really North Star dives into these histories because we need to know them, also center them, but also they create a pathway for us and what we need for our future.
A little more about the history of North Star. So North Star was co-founded by Danielle Mkali and LaDonna Sanders Redmond. It started as a book club of collective courage, as Nicole named. And Nexus held space for Dr. Jessica Gordon Nemhart in Minneapolis to talk about her book and the research conducted. And Danielle Mkali created the curriculum in partnership with the Toolbox for Education and Social Action, TESSA. And an overview of North Star. So we have graduated 8 cohorts so far, 133 alumni, and that includes Black and people of African descent, majority of women identified folks, a few male and gender non-binary folks, as well as a few LGBTQIA plus folks. And we support Black-led co-ops, which include worker-owned, housing, artist investment, credit union, and land trusts. And some examples include Yo Mama's House, Northside Investment Cooperative Enterprise, NICE, MN, Black Broadband Coalition. And the photo here is from cohort 2. So one of our earlier cohorts where we were still meeting in person.
Yeah, so as Liana named, the curriculum was really created by Danielle, and the toolbox was for education and social action. But over the years, we've also just, changed things around, taking from, the experiences of North Stars. Also, we always say North Star is a co-learning space. It's hands-on. We use popular education, and it draws on culturally significant traditions and practices, the art of making sacred space. You had an opportunity to sort of experience some of that with the sacred pause, even with, asking for names and what people are joining from, just to recognize and see who's all in the room, but also just to take a space to center us in being together for this hour. But some of the topics include storytelling and place setting, Black cooperative history, Black feminisms, rethinking capitalism and solidarity economy, We do a virtual cooperative tour. We dive into cooperative financing. We do a cooperative business plan and a feasibility plan as well, or a feasibility study. We talk about what it looks like to make democratic decisions together. We talk about what it looks like to engage community members who you want to be part of your cooperative, whether it's advisory members or new members for your co-op or more. We dive into governance and bylaws. We talk about restorative and transformative justice practices, conflict resolution, and then at the end, we have final presentations, which are really driven by you and what you want to focus on to present. And so these are the topics of North Star each year. We may tweak them as we figure out like who's in the cohorts and what sort of what things they need. We lean heavily onto our facilitators to help us through this process. But like I said, North Star is a co-learning space. So as much as you'll be learning from us or the facilitators that we bring, we'll also be learning a lot from the cohort members and the different experiences that exist in the room. And then just very quickly, on the right is a picture of Credrafon. It was a social club in Rondo, St. Paul. The name comes from like each first letter of the founders' names. And Credrafon was really incredible in creating social clubs, creating credit unions, grocery stores. Oftentimes they would host rent parties. So let's say I can't make rent this month. I'll just have a party at my house. People pay a few dollars at the door, come in, have a good time, and I'm able to make rent. But they also were the folks that would like it was a lot of young people and they wanted to have space to party and just be together. So they'd often book different hotels around Minneapolis and St. Paul. And they'd send a lot of their lighter skinned people, the lighter appearing people to help book the hotel. And then, you know, all the Black people would come and they were really part of the folks that helped desegregate a lot of hotels in St. Paul and Minnesota. And so just wanting to uplift that really important cooperative history. Oh, yes, as I mentioned, these are some of the facilitators that we've had and community educators, LaDonna Sanders-Redmond, who was part of the North Star founders, Amake Kubat, who is an incredible artist, elder in community, who founded Yo Mama's House Co-op, who was in cohort 2, but comes back oftentimes to share her wisdoms. Omar Freya, who's a coordinator for Collective Diaspora that works with different cooperatives across the diaspora, so North America, South America, and the African continent. Gary Hampton, Dr. Rose Brewer. So these are the few of the people that we bring in, and oftentimes we love bringing in our alumni as well who are in this work. So these are the folks that might help lead us in some of the sessions and provide depth to curriculum, but also are people that you can often lean on outside sessions if you have additional questions or want some direction or have specific things that might that have to do with your cooperative project.
All right. So for cohort 9, 2025-2026, we are inviting all types of cooperatives, collectives, and land trusts. And so just going through some definitions. So collectives are entities that are jointly organized and operated by a group, such as an art collective, dance collective, or farm collective. Cooperatives, people-centered entity, owned, controlled, and run by and for their members to realize their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations. Examples are worker co-ops, artist co-ops, housing co-ops, grocery store co-ops, and then land trusts. Land trusts are organizations that work towards conserving land for the public benefit by protecting natural and cultural resources and providing public access. Land trusts achieve this objective by acquiring land, preserving it in its natural state, and managing it in perpetuity. So examples include residential or commercial land trusts. All right.
And then housing cooperatives form when people join on a democratic basis to own or control the housing or community facility where they live. And then lastly, investment cooperatives. An investment co-op is a cooperative that allows residents to invest financially and collectively to buy, rehab, or manage a commercial or residential property.
So our Black study sessions. So Black study sessions are a place for North Stars to go further and deeper into different cooperative topics. So these are open to the public, so not just fellows, but community members as well can join us to go deeper and to continue to amplify Black cooperative knowledge. So examples of previous Black study sessions we've done include Black cooperation and Kwanzaa. As you can see that flyer, self-care and community care, which we just did this past spring, which was a beautiful space of doing some sound healing, meditation, breath work, and some movement to just connect to our bodies and rest, but also be in that individual and communal practice of taking care of ourselves and each other in this work, knowing that it's a journey. Some other topics have been Black cooperatives and Black wealth and Black cooperative matriarchs. So Black study sessions, I believe, started in cohort 4 or 5. 4, okay, 5. Around that time, yep, just recognizing that we we need space to go deeper, but also to bring community into the space and engage community members as well around this work. So it's just a space to go deeper into this study.
And then we also have an alumni fund for cooperatives, which was developed in 2019. So Nexus Community Partners continues to support the cohort as alumni continue to develop their own cooperative enterprises through a technical assistance fund. So this could be anything from admin support to helping form your cooperative, to money to support cooperative leadership, development, workshop trainings, to maybe help start a capital campaign for your cooperative, governance and bylaw development, if you need to hire a lawyer to do that, if you wanted to hire someone to help with the marketing or communications aspect. And then the only ask is that people have an advisory committee and they've met at least 3 months or more. And this fund was really created because I think in cohort 3, we saw that, yes, we can take people through 7 months of a cooperative fellowship, but there's still more work that needs to be done. And oftentimes that work requires capital. And often the capital around us is not really set up to fund the work that is happening. A lot of the funders don't really understand cooperatives or don't understand the visions of Black people, even though they're incredible and like beyond what they expect. And so the alumni fund is supposed to help support that work that comes out of North Star. I will just share, I think for this year, it is also budget dependent for what we're able to receive from the organization. So for example, this year we were able to secure $25,000 in alumni funds, and we will have spent that down by the end of this month from requests that have come in from alumni from this previous cohort, but also from cohorts dating back to cohort 4. And so as long as we have, hoping that we have the budget again to do this next year, we will continue to support alumni in any way we can. And I will say sometimes our little bit of funding helps leverage additional funding, maybe outside of the organization. And so, yeah, alumni funds.
So alumni engagement. So as we shared, we've had 8 cohorts, 133 alumni. So in the fall 2023, we did our first kind of comprehensive alumni survey to just check in and see where alumni were at, and just to continue and engage and see if they, how they're still engaging with their cooperative work, if that shifted. And that was a really important, excuse me, survey, just to check and to kind of see what the landscape has been and where we might need to continue to go. So with alumni engagement, we're still, strengthening that, recognizing that alumni, your lived experiences. We see also the connections of in recent years of previous cohort members of similar groups coming in later cohorts. And so it's been beautiful to see those continued bridges happening. But we are, committed to continuing to support people alongside their journey when they become alumni through different focus groups, community events, alumni gatherings. We're still, refining and figuring that out, but wanting to strengthen our alumni engagement as well.
So lastly, I know you are all here, hopefully interested in North Star. So here's a little bit about expectations for our North Stars. So fellows are expected to attend all North Star events, Saturday sessions, Black Study sessions, and cooperate with their fellows on their respective cooperative final presentation and initiatives. Fellows can anticipate this is like an 85 to 100-hour commitment over 7 months. We mostly meet once a month. There might be sometimes we meet more than once. But yeah, this is the space to do so. Fellows will be provided with a small stipend to support their participation in the fellowship. The total amount is $1,000. So it's dispersed in 2 payments, one at the beginning of the fellowship and one at the end of the fellowship, and that is subject to attendance and participation. And we recognize that life happens, like life is happening to all of us right now. And so we're open to having conversations and checking in to seeing where people are. As long as you all communicate with us, we're happy to. We know that we're providing space for, like I said, the people who are dealing with life. And so we do want to make sure that we're being mindful of that as well.
So our dates are listed here for the cohort 9. As you can see, we have a mixture of some hybrid sessions as well as virtual. So in the fall, we plan to be hybrid for our first 3 sessions, including as well as orientation. So folks that are local to the Twin Cities area, we would meet in person at our office in St. Paul. And then in the winter, we resume to be virtual. And then in the spring, we plan to resume being hybrid again. And right now we have graduation listed as hybrid, but we are still, coordinating and figuring out what that might be. So of course we will communicate any changes. But typically we meet one time a month on a Saturday, sometimes twice a month. And then we have our 2 Black study sessions, one in December and one in April. So yep, we meet over the course of the 7 months here. And this is also available on our website as well, these dates, as well as the application. We'll have these dates listed as well. All right.
So applications are currently open, and we can add a link to that in the chat. And they'll be open until the 25th of August. So what we would love is someone that is really committed to Black economic cooperation, be a member of a Black-led cooperative, or have an idea of one they would like to start. North Star does welcome folks of different racial backgrounds, as long as they are part of a Black-led effort. And Black-led means that Black folks are the decision makers and leaders of this effort. We do ask that it's groups of 2 or more that are committed to the same cooperative idea or initiative or already established a cooperative. All members from one cooperative who want to participate in North Star have to submit an individual application. So yes, you can all be in a group together. We do need individual applications because we have to collect addresses and things of that nature for stipends and so forth. And then be committed to attending all the North Star sessions and Black Study sessions and completing the fellowship. I do see some questions in the chat, but I just want to hold off a second until we just see what else is next, and then I'll respond. Oh, perfect. Questions. Okay, I can start with the questions in the chat, and then I'll
Sharing.
folks to also come off mic. So the first question, where are the class meeting held? Does meeting virtual mean on Zoom? Yes. So because in the past years, because we've been virtual, we often have cooperators from across the country joining us. And so hybrid means, as Liana stated, that if you are in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in the Twin Cities, then we do ask that you come in person, and we'll have a hybrid option. We have some owls in the office, and so we can still engage with the folks that are virtual. If you're in Greater Minnesota and beyond, we don't expect you to drive to the Twin Cities, but we do expect you to show up on Zoom, and we'll have a hybrid facilitated session. If it's once we move to fully virtual, that means we just fully move to Zoom again with everybody. I hope that answers your question. Do you encourage multiple from one collective to apply? Yes. We do ask of groups of 2 or more. Sometimes it's just helpful if one person is not feeling well, or one person has whatever additional responsibilities outside the cohort, we always have at least one person from that cooperative represented. So yes, we do encourage multiple people from one collective to apply. Now, if there's more than 2, amazing. If not, as long as it's 2 or more, that works for us. Can already existing cooperatives apply together? Yes, welcome. We love that. Next, North Star is a co-learning space. We have varying experiences. We might have people that are newer to co-ops, or people that are seasoned in co-ops. There might be some things that are really helpful for like either part of the spectrum there. So we do encourage, or we do invite existing cooperatives to apply together. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, just please let me know. Is the North Star Fellowship open to people in Canada? Yes, you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. We do have those hybrid sessions, and so we'll still be making space for the folks that are not in person. We'll still be having the same kind of programming and same facilitation. If transportation is an issue, yes, we can do virtual. Like I said, we're more than happy to talk. We figure out the situation. If transportation is an issue, then virtual is fine, since we do have that option as well. If people are sick, like, please don't come into the office. Please stay home and take care of yourself, etc. Please reiterate, can more than 2 people from the same cooperative apply? Yes. So the basis is that we ask for at least 2 people to apply. So if there are more than 2 people, that's amazing. Yes, we do accept that. We just ask that there are 2 or more from the same cooperative. Yeah. Any other questions?
So I just dropped the application link into the chat, which again is on our website as well. But yes, are there any other questions, comments, concerns?
I see a question from Alicia. How many people will be selected? I think we have to go back through. I will say that Liana and I interview almost everyone that applies, unless like they don't finish the applications. Then I mean there might be an email sent out to be like, hey, please finish your application. We do invite everyone. We do almost all the time invite everyone to interview, and most people get in. The only times people have not gotten into North Star is if they didn't have like the amount of people that we asked for, or if we hearing their project felt like it was disjointed or not really there, or felt like they had many different ideas. For the most part, most people are selected into North Star, and if not, we sort of talk about the reason. The only other time I think people haven't gotten into North Star, maybe weren't interviewed, is because maybe they were interested in co-ops but didn't have a group or an idea they were working with. Then we might give them some other resources to do so. But yeah, we're pretty chill. I think we're pretty chill. I hope we're fun too. But also the space is really created and made by the people that are in it. And so you are part of the experience. Is there any other? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a quick question. So when it says groups of 2 or more that are applying, is the people who are applying, are they people who are going to be members of the cooperative, or is it anyone who's assisting and supporting to if it's a new ideal initiative?
Yes, it can be anyone who's assisting. you get to decide like how you want to all like name yourselves, but yes, as long as it's two or more people, we do ask that the two or more people are like engaged in the same idea. It can't be like I want to build childcare co-ops and Liana wants to build dance co-ops and we haven't really talked about it to figure out how it aligns. It just has to be like the same idea or an aligned idea. But yes, it can
Okay.
be on assisting.
Because I'm thinking of like in terms of just the ideal that I'm working towards. There's the logistical part of actually building the agency, and there's someone who's supporting with that, and then there's the actual people who I'm soliciting as members of Cooperative. And so, like at this stage of planning, it feels more appropriate to have the person who's supporting with helping to lift the initiative off invest their time versus asking people who would be members to invest their time on this end.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And they still need to submit their own application under the same heading. Okay, got it. And are those people? Is it a joint stipend, the $1,000, or is it individual person to person?
It's individual person to person. That's why we ask for whoever is applying for each member of the group, we need an individual application so that they also receive their own stipend, but also because we have their own email. Because yes, everyone will be emailed together, but yeah, individual stipends.
So quick question. I'm part of two co-ops, but there's another third co-op that we're helping set up, right? And they, more than the current two co-ops that I'm part of, will benefit more from this. You see what I mean? Like, so can I have someone from that co-op be my second person, but it will be their co, you know what I mean? Like, but we're doing similar things and we're just sharing the knowledge of what we've done in setting up these other co-ops. So can they apply with us?
Yes, they can. I would just ask in the application that there's something that links the two of you together.
Okay.
Yes, so that we know that this is the same group.
Team co. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Yeah, any other questions?
All right. Thank you. Well, if there are no more questions at the moment, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. We look forward to fully receiving your applications. Feel free to reach out to us. I'll put our North Star email address in the chat. But yes, we're so excited, grateful. Yeah, it's always beautiful, and to hear where everyone's coming from, it's just like, yes, this is beautiful. So thank you all, and take care.
Thank you.